and fire-wise as they can.
Do you want me to say, I don't know?
No!
Okay.
That's you.
Then I will.
Yeah, or why,
Okay.
why would it
I'll tell you what I think.
why would it be important for animal, here's another way I can ask it. Why
Do you love your animals like people?
Why,
Hold on.
why is it
Can you
important?
mute and camera?
Why is it important for animal owners, with your pet parents, if you've got donkeys in the backyard or chickens, to
Exactly. And then can you guys start admitting people once Roberta's camera's on?
Okay.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining. We're live streaming as we speak. Those people on live stream, if you saw a black screen for a little bit, that was just us doing some tech stuff. We'd rather see you have you see a blank screen than have you watch us do this crazy sausage making in the background. A little different format today. Normally it's just me as a Zoom person and we Zoom in our guest speaker, but Julie Atwood is our guest speaker this time around. And so, yeah, so there'll be the two of us as if we're in one Zoom room. So this is our soft open. So folks, if you have any questions, don't wait till the end. We'll do the program. Julie and I will do some Q&A back and forth. We'll have some questions from some of our team here in the room we're in. But if you guys think of any questions, my recommend is you put them in the chat, and then we will queue them up at the end when we do a more broadly open discussion as a Q&A later on in the program. So let's see what else. Just ahead of our hard open, I wanted to let you guys know, and I'll say it again. Today we've got Fire Safe Sonoma team helping us out as always, but it's kind of a unique today. Today we have our 3 new fellows who are in their first week. This is like the 4th day with me. I think they're all sick of me by now, but you guys, hang in there. And then also to help out, particularly with this endeavor, doing our speaker series, we have 2 of our more seasoned fellows who were with us last term. We have both Malia and Alina helping us out from last term. And they have volunteered their time today to help out to make this particular presentation a success, because they knew Roberta was pretty much by herself right now, handling 3 new fellows and having to do the speaker series. So thank you guys for helping me out and tossing me a life raft. And they're all giving me the heart symbol. All right, so are we, as soon as we're at time, then we'll go ahead and we are at time. Okay, so I'm going to bring up the graphic and then we will open up and do the hard open. So let's share screen. So just stop sharing. Now it's Q1. Okay, hard open. 5, 4, 3. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining today at the Fire Safe Sonoma Speaker Series. My name is Roberta McIntyre, and I'm the chair of Fire Safe Sonoma. We stream this program on our YouTube channel once a month on the 4th Thursday of the month from 2 to 3, except for December. We're dark in December every month. And just so you know, you can find our past speaker series programs on our YouTube channel. We've been doing this for about 5 years now, so there's a whole heck of a lot of content on our YouTube channel, lots of stuff. We very rarely duplicate material. We try not to duplicate material. We're kind of deliberate about that, but sometimes we do. And for those who might not know, Fire Safe Sonoma is the countywide fire safe council serving Sonoma County for 26 years now. Quite a bit of time. Yep, that's right. We've been doing work in this space before fire safety, particularly wildland fire safety, was really popular. So now we are much in demand, and we are here to help folks with all the resources we have available. Before we get started, though, I do want to thank Team Fire Safe Sonoma for helping out today. It's kind of a special day, so we're doing this in a little bit different format than we normally do. Normally, it's just me zooming in from my studio, and then we zoom in our guest speaker. But today we're live streaming off Santa Rosa Fire Department admin, and we have our guest speaker right next to me today. So get to that in a minute. And also I wanted to let you know today helping us out is our past fellows, Alina and Malia. And they're helping Roberta out today because I have 3 new fellows who haven't done the speaker series program before. So they're helping out with a lot of tech and training the new fellows on how to do all the tech. So thank you, Team Fire Safe Sonoma. Yay, I hear the applause. It's so loud I can.
And a live studio audience.
Yeah, we do have a live studio audience today. And then also, folks, don't forget to check the Fire Safe Sonoma calendar on our website for upcoming events. We try to keep it pretty well populated with things that are happening in the wildland fire safety and risk reduction space. You should be able to look on there and see if our tool trailer is out and deployed. In case you want to borrow it, you can see if it's already, booked for a weekend you're interested in. And also let us know if you have any events that you want on our calendar. Send them our way, and we will try to make sure they get populated on our events calendar, which is available through our website. So also to stay in the loop, subscribe to our updates. And you can do that through our website. There's a button, I think it's on the top right, or also down in the bottom footer of our website. You can click on subscribe to our updates, and you'll get on our listserv, which means we'll send you often a weekly update with stuff that's happening in the upcoming week that we want to share with you. And then every once in a blue moon, if there's something particularly urgent or meaningful, we'll send you an update like in the middle of the week. But we try to be careful not to bury you with a bunch of stuff. So we're trying to be real careful and just keep those updates to once a week. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about last month. We had Chief Ben Nichols on the program. If you missed it, you can go again to our YouTube channel and check out that last month's program. Chief Nichols was on our program last month to talk about the Sonoma County wildfire outlook, specifically related to the weather outlook and what we might see for fire weather in the last half of this fire season. Earlier in the year, we had him on doing the first half of wildfire seasonal outlook. And then last year and years prior, we used to do that once a year. And then we discovered that, it's probably going to be better for folks to see that twice a year and get fresher data. It's within the window of time that CAL FIRE has to predict fire weather with the tools that they have. Going out, just 2.5 months or so is a better predictor. So we do it twice a month instead of once a month, trying to do the whole season in one sitting. And then next month, we are actually going to have Alina and Malia on our program. And they're going to be talking about a Ready, Set, Go program for renters. Many of you are familiar with our Ready, Set, Go program and materials. We have the Ready, Set, Go booklet and Ready, Set, Go videos. And we've done a few presentations in person and virtually on our Ready, Set, Go materials, how to be overall wildland fire safe. And they put together one exclusively for renters. It's really cool. We did that live and bilingually a few months back, and it was really well received. And so they're going to give it to a broader audience via the speaker series next month. And all of our materials for Ready, Set, Go are bilingual, by the way. Let's see. And then I lost my voice. I guess we're done, you guys. No, I'm just kidding. So this month, we're pleased to have Julie Atwood from the Halter Project on our program. Julie, thank you so much for joining us today in person. It is an honor. We go back a little ways. Can you give us a little bit of a bio, and then we'll dive into some of your materials and what you do?
We do go back a ways. First, it's just a huge honor to be here in Santa Rosa at the fire station for a start, and with your team. Fire Safe Sonoma has been such an important part of helping us prepare animal owners here in the county, and the Halter Project, which I started back in 2013, actually partners with Fire Safe and FireWise organizations and communities throughout the state and the country. So a little bit about me. I'm a Sonoma County almost native, lived here over 40 years, and I live in Glen Ellen, and that is where the Halter Project was born and raised back in 2013. In 2016, I quit my day job as an event planner in the wine hospitality industry to focus 24/7 on preparedness for people and their animals. And we say we're all about all species, all hazards, all safe, and all species starts with us, because if we're not safe, we're not going to be able to take care of anybody else, including our critters. And so who are the critters? What are the critters? everything that people might keep as companion animals. And we also help with programming and awareness education for commercial livestock as well. But today we're really going to focus on the pets, the little guys, people who might have bigger animals in their backyards, like sheep, goats, mini equines, big equines, those little mini longhorn cattle, chickens, and other poultry, as well as provide information to people who have perhaps commercial equine boarding facilities, boarding kennels for dogs, boarding or grooming facilities for cats. So pretty much whatever you have, whatever furry, feathered, finny creature you have in your life, in your family, we exist to provide free education, resources, materials, workshops, workbooks. We're going to go through some of those today to help individuals, community leaders, agencies, nonprofit organizations, block leaders, people who play pickleball together, whatever, get the information they need to create emergency action plans for their animals. We've been honored a lot throughout the years, in particular back in 2016. So before we had big incidents beginning to happen here. Back in 2016, the Halter Project was honored with 2 national awards from FEMA. We were the recipients of the Individual and Community Preparedness Award, as well as the Community Preparedness Call to Action Award. So that was really, really exciting. We went to the White House. We were guests of FEMA for 3 days. We got to sit in the National Emergency Operations Center and be quizzed by people from around the country. And it opened a lot of doors for us and taught me a lot. So today, we are here, as Roberta mentioned a few minutes ago, last month, Chief Nichols was here from CAL FIRE talking to us about what's ahead of us. And for those of us who have lived here for any length of time, we know that what's ahead of us is October, November, and possibly the most critical fire weather time of the year. We hope not, but we need to be ready for it. And so Roberta and I are going to talk to each other and to you and to all of you about why it's so important to have a plan both for yourself and your animals, why it's critically important to practice that plan, build a buddy network of people to help you and your animals when something bad is looming on the horizon, know the ways to get information, and know what to do above all to keep your home and your animals' home safe. So I want to start by asking you a question. I know today you're going to ask me, you're going to quiz me, but I want to ask you a question. So Ms. Fire Safe Sonoma, with the great Fire Safe Sonoma team here in front of us, why is it so important for homeowners, renters, visitors, people to understand the principles of having a fire-wise home, neighborhood, and community if you have animals?
So I'm going to take it a step further, and I think that's where you're heading in a way.
I don't want to do all the talking.
Okay, very good. Okay. So at Fire Safe Sonoma, historically, we've focused a lot about the residential dwelling. And, fire-wise, fire safe, doing your wildfire risk reduction around your home and around your community. We historically focused on human beings and life safety that way. But we all have, many of us, almost all of us probably, have animals large and small. We have horses, we have livestock, we have pets. And for many of us, our pets are people too. And so if we're thinking about saving things we love, I think we need to be including those animals. And I think even taking it as far as the barn on the property. So oftentimes I think we focus on the house and we go, okay, we've got the 0 to 5 there, we've got the 5 to 30, got the 30 to 100, but the barn may be a little farther out. Or you might not be thinking about the
other
barn.
outbuildings,
Yeah.
chicken coop even.
Anything where you have live things.
Stuff hay, equipment, supplies. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we want to protect those things as well. So, Julie has put in my mind the concept of, isn't it important to have defensible space around those buildings also to help protect those animals? Particularly if you can't get them out and they're going to be there, you need to have that defensible space around that barn. It's like plan B. Plan A, of course, is to evacuate with your animals if you can. But if you can't, you got to give them a chance, and give them some defensible space as well. That's what I'm thinking. That's what's going to do.
Exactly. And when I first became aware, and I can't even remember when my awareness was first elevated, but no doubt due to you and Fire Safe Sonoma, the term home hardening was just starting to be a thing. And I was really focused on hardening my own home, which narrowly escaped being annihilated back in 2017. We had a lot of grazing animals. Mm-hmm. We had done quite a bit of work. We learned very quickly we needed to do more, and we've continued to do a lot more ever since. But I've become increasingly aware of and concerned about the lack of barn hardening, right, chicken coop hardening, shed hardening, right, goat shelter hardening. So there is so much emphasis on keeping or elevating, improving the resiliency of our residential structures, but very little has been done, or very few spotlights have been placed upon those other areas. And often the places where our animals live are very, very close to the houses. They really shouldn't be, but most of them are older, and that's what we've inherited. But if we're not safe, we can't keep our animals safe. If our homes are safer, then our animals will be safer. Right. And both we and our animals will have homes to come back to, yes, which is really, really important. And that's something I learned from you years ago, listening to you talk about California being a leader in terms of earthquake, hardening our homes, so that not only will the structures, not just homes, but all kinds of structures, be able to ride out the quake, but they'll be there. We'll have a home to go back to. We'll have businesses. We'll have communities. Yeah. And so you planted in my brain that seed, that thought that it goes way beyond just being able to withstand the wildfire. Right. And again, Halter Project's mantra is all species, all hazards, which includes wildfire, barn fire, earthquakes. That's always the elephant in the room for us here in California, right? Winter storms, floods, debris flows, super hot weather, super cold weather, not quite as extreme, but whatever might be coming our way, whatever there is a pretty good chance that at some point we'll get that. And so there was very little information that I could find back in 2010 is really when I started on this journey, to help me understand what I could do to keep myself safer, but especially to keep my animals safer. Yeah. And so that's why we started the Halter Project. And as the years have progressed, we've moved on way beyond the go bag. I have presentations called Beyond the Go Bag. Love it. Because pretty much everybody is good, pretty good to go with their go bags. Yeah. But one question that we get asked, I know you're supposed to ask me the questions, but since we're talking this is good. One question that we get asked while we're on the topic of go bags and supplies is, how much should you have? And the simple answer is that we want everybody to have enough stuff ready to go. It could mean, if you're getting ready to go on a vacation and you're taking your pets with you, but you should have enough for evacuating to get you through at least a week, preferably 2. And what about those long stay supplies, your stay-at-home crate for when you have to shelter in place, or your animals are going to be sheltered in place? And for long stays, which could also include a pandemic, something we never even knew we had to plan for until a few years ago. Extended power outages. In 2017, where I live, we did not have public utilities for 23 days. We did have some of our own alternative energy, but as time wore on and propane deliveries and cloudiness and storms came in, our backup resources were functioning, but we had to really limit things. So for a long stay, you really ought to try to have a month's worth of supplies. And I always like to jump in and remind people that whether you're planning for supplies to evacuate or planning for supplies staying at home, sheltering in place, always add at least one extra dose of parasite control for your animal. So per animal, so per dog, per cat, because you do not want to be sheltered in place. You do not want to be evacuated with your pet and about 10 million fleas, which thrive after wildfires and other incidents.
I want to go back to structural hardening for a minute, particularly with the barn, because when we touched on that earlier, and I've been kind of mulling this around a little bit, barns are not tight structures typically, they're board and batten or maybe just board and board. And so embers can get in there pretty easily. And of course, that's where your horses are and other animals to keep them out of the weather and the heat, etc. And even if the animals are out of the barn, embers again can get in the barn through those cracks and stuff. So I'm really going to focus a little bit on structural hardening the barn, tightening those gaps. Because imagine, we have a little bit of defensible space around the barn. The embers are the most insidious part of the wildfire coming in front of it. Wind-blown embers can go for very long ways, miles. And if those get in through the cracks of the barn, what's in the barn?
Here's another part of that is that here in the West, where we don't have extreme winters, many of our barns, most of our barns, cannot be closed in. So they're designed for maximum ventilation, which unfortunately, in the instance of these fires that create their own wind events or happen because of wind events, the barns themselves are sitting ducks, no pun intended. So they're actually designed to pull everything into them. And so, this is something that I've been bugging you for years.
What are some ways that we can do to make the barn more wildfire or fire safe structurally, and still not lose that functionality of the barn?
Just a couple of weeks ago, I had the privilege of giving a workshop at a really, really wonderful property right here in Santa Rosa, northeast Santa Rosa, a commercial boarding facility, a wood barn, in the middle of ranch land, so a lot of oak woodlands. It is surrounded by vineyards on a couple of sides, but the owner, in my mind, this is the gold standard, maybe even the platinum standard, just about everything that you could do to make that type of barn. It's older, it's not ancient, it's probably around 30 years old. It's a classic California equestrian barn, equine barn. It can be partially closed in at the end. The stalls can be closed, but it's going to remain open because equines and many other animals need a lot of ventilation to stay healthy. Every stall has a turnout. So she can close the stalls to prevent the animals from going back in. There are larger turnouts on the property that the animals can be taken to when they're preparing for an event. The barn is on a mister system.
Oh, interesting.
She's got more fire extinguishers than you would be required to have for that size and dimension of property. Not only hoses, standard residential hoses, and really strong hoses and nozzles, but hydrants, multiple hydrants on the property. She has them inspected. She has the local fire department come out and take a look and make sure everything is up to snuff and that their equipment is going to be compatible. And where you were headed is what's in the barn. So these barn aisles are immaculate. The hay is stored in a dedicated hay barn, which in this particular case is about 50, 60 feet away from where the animals live.
wow.
Again, trying to maintain at least that 30-foot
distance, yeah.
space is ideal, but not always possible.
Yeah.
In terms of other stuff, things that we often keep in our equine barns or large animal spaces are highly flammable. And so that edict that we like to put out there as part of our prep for what we call weather watch routine. I want to go into that shortly, but what to do when you are preparing for, especially for fire weather. And I always remember Carleone and the stuff. Get rid of the stuff, clean the stuff. And we have a lot of stuff around horse barns. We often have muck buckets and wheelbarrows filled with bedding that's getting prepared to be taken out. We have often flakes or possibly even bales of hay that are ready for the next 1 or 2 or 3 feedings. Our horse blankets that might be hanging over the stalls. So all kinds of things, but we have a fix for that. We have a lot of materials. I don't know, are people able to see what we have here? Oh, good, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the things that we have, and our awesome Climate Action Corps fellows who are here in the station with us are going to drop a lot of these resources into the chat for anybody who wants them. But one of the things that we have right here that ties into or supports what we're talking about is we prepared a fire weather barn routine handout, and you can also get this as a big poster that's laminated, or you can laminate it and post it in your barn. And attached to this is a checklist. Okay, I know everybody loves checklists, but this is an important checklist that leads you through all of the things we just talked about, plus a whole lot more. And so, yeah, it is probably not going to be realistic for us to make most of the barns, shed, outbuildings, animal housing on our properties, no matter how big they are or how well maintained they are and how fire resilient, wildfire ready they are. It's probably not going to be practical for many of us to do everything that we would do with our homes, and certainly not new construction, to retrofit an equine facility or an old dairy barn or anything like that. So we do the best we can.
Yeah.
It's what the fire service tells us over and over again, do the best you can. So a really important part of this is going to go way beyond hardening the property, and it's going to be all about having a solid plan.
But I like that you have, like, red flag shelter in place prep too.
Yep.
Just in case. Yeah.
So we have workbooks, and I brought some here in the studio. And again, we have links to all of these goodies, I think, that are going to get dropped into the chat. And by the way, you can find everything that we want you to take advantage of at halterproject.org. Again, our website is like a huge, huge library, except everything is for free and for the taking. And you can download workbooks like this one, Barn and Ranch Safety Workbook, which includes these defensible space and barn hardening and ranch hardening and backyard hardening checklists right from our website. But having a plan for our animals, just like having a plan for ourselves, is, again, it's critical, because no matter how hard we work at it, we may not always be able to prevent the structures from becoming involved in the wildfires. Just they become part of nature.
You had me speak at an event a while back, and while I was there, I found...
In my barn.
In your barn, yes. While I was there, I saw this, and I thought, wow, what an amazing piece of literature.
Animals in the Wooey. Animals in the Wooey. And
it's a good, like, every Reader's Digest version of everything you do and say in one, 4-page.
Well, kind of, sort of. So, and we just made a version with Fire Safe Sonoma's logo on it, and Fire Safe Sonoma's links and some other local resources. But this document, which we call Animals in the Wooey, so Animals in the Wildland Urban Interface, Back in early or late 2023, actually, I was asked by the International Association of Fire Chiefs to work with them on a program that they received a grant for to provide critical safety information for rural fire departments, rural firefighters, and other responders. That included not only general info about animal emergency and disaster preparedness, resources, places that, because, you know, frankly, most of these departments, especially volunteer agencies, they don't have the resources that ours have. And we know that, especially outside of California. And so this was designed for rural departments all over the country and in Canada and Australia and New Zealand as well. Yeah, and was really well received. So it has a lot of resources for rural firefighters and local residents as well. And then it also has safety for responders around equines and other large animals. So this is very specific. How do we keep our firefighters safe? Important. So this was one of the things that they had seen on our website, and they particularly wanted it. We provide sponsorships for trainings for firefighters and other first responders who want to get more involved in what's called large animal technical rescue, in which this is part of the curriculum. But again, hundreds, maybe thousands of first responders, especially firefighters, every year are responding to fires where they're encountering horses, cattle, and they don't have a clue. And we want them to stay safe. We don't want to train them to be animal handlers. Hopefully they're going to be able to call on somebody local. But we do want them to know what are the danger zones, especially. You know, don't go here, don't go there. I always tell them, if you can't do what you need to do without passing directly behind a horse, find another way. And firefighters, as you know, because you were one for so long, firefighters are all about finding solutions to keep themselves and everyone else safe.
It's interesting because years ago, I ran a call for a horse that needed help, not like my little dog, but a horse. Out in West County, and Chief Baxman and I showed up. And this was before all the large animal rescue training and everything else.
He was the second department to sign up for that training.
Probably because of this incident we went on.
Doing it.
And we were so out of our depth. And so, so that was a while ago. Since then, you've done some great work in the space. And I think just about maybe every fire agency in Sonoma County is pretty well up to speed with large animal rescue.
Most of them have at least this level of awareness, but we do have some actual agency animal technical rescue teams in the county. And so those are teams that are not only certified, so it is a state fire certification program, and that they include Sonoma Valley, and that's actually probably the lead, and we equipped Sonoma Valley with a very large, fully equipped response trailer that is available to other agencies. Rancho Adobe has made a huge commitment. Chief Baxman out in Monterey, West County, he was in the second class, and he's still doing it. Grayton and Sebastopol also have equipment and resources. And then we've got individual firefighters with a number of agencies here and there. And so,
but to bring that back to wildfire specifically,
which is not usually going to be a response.
That's what I was going to say. That wouldn't be the response you get.
Not usually, but we want to keep them safe.
Yes. So again, the main point is, try to evacuate early with your animals.
Before someone tells you when to go.
Don't wait till then.
Anyone want to ask us when is the best time to evacuate with your animals? Okay, I'll ask you.
I'll ask you. You ask me? When is the best time to evacuate?
This is one of our most frequently asked questions. And this is how I say it. The best time to evacuate with your animals or your bad knee or your hip replacement or your grandparents or your grandchildren, anything or anybody that's going to slow you down is before emergency managers tell us it's time to go. And that means you need to be ready. And again, this weather watch routine, I think we have a slide for weather watch routine.
Yeah, it's
okay, great.
now,
Okay.
yeah.
So have a weather watch routine. This particular one is more focused on barns, as we talked about, but everybody, pet owners, even if you don't have animals, I'm sure there's some people listening today who are community leaders, and there's a lot of information here that's relevant to everybody. It's that all species thing. The time to go is before there's an evacuation warning. And so this concept of the weather watch routine. So this is a routine that's part of your emergency action plan. You commit it to paper, if at all possible. You practice it with your neighbors who are inside your evacuation zone. You practice it with your animal emergency buddy network partners, who might be neighbors who live close by, but should also be people who are outside your evacuation zone. You practice it in blue sky times, like today. But so day before yesterday, it was 103. And then yesterday we had thunder and lightning in many, fortunately not here, but many, many places throughout the Bay Area. There were some lightning strikes. And I was giving a presentation the day before yesterday where it was really hot and it was sunny, but they told us this weather was coming. So that is the time when we get those forecasts, and we get so much information now from our meteorologists, from our local fire agencies,
from alert warning system, watch duty. Yeah.
From emergency management. There's so
self-awareness,
many.
Situational awareness.
Situational awareness. I think we have a slide for that too, with our dog and our cat and the whiskers and the ears. So the time to get ready to go is when there's a weather watch. Okay, so it's out there. We've gotten the message, right? We've gotten a signal that something's out there. It could happen here. The next level is that weather warning. It's happening, and it's probably going to happen near where we live. And then if we're talking about wildfire weather, then it gets elevated to red flag. And if it gets to a red flag, we need to be on the road with our animals, period.
And I think that those earlier announcements, that's the time to start getting ready. Do not wait for the red flag to get ready. I mean, if you're an individual and you don't have a lot to do to get ready, you might be able to help somebody else. Yeah, but again, you might be able to push that envelope a little bit and wait till last minute. But if you've got large animals, large vehicles, a lot to do on your ranch, on your property before you leave.
Have cats like I do.
Right? And so, that all takes time. And so get as much of that done in the earlier, warning stages of alerts than wait for that, leave now.
Every one of our workbooks has a checklist that leads you through what you need to be doing and when you need to be thinking about it. And it's that thinking about it. It's that situational awareness. What might happen? So every single one of our workbooks has checklists, and they're all different. They're specific to whether you just have pets, whether you live in a senior community, whether you have a big ranch, or whether you just have a half acre with some donkeys and goats in it. So whatever you're going to need to do to get ready to capture your animals, to load them up and go, know where you're going, have places to go, all of that are things that we want to be doing year round. I like to say we need to be, a really good friend of mine who's Cal Fire Battalion Chief way up north talks about staying in the yellow all the time.
Staying in the yellow.
In the yellow.
What does that mean?
Well, it doesn't mean what it means to people of our generation. Mellow yellow, right?
Okay.
But so staying in the yellow. So think about our fire weather dial. Okay.
Green, yellow.
So we don't want to be. agitating and in panic mode and immediately going from 0 to 120 because it's time to go. We also don't want to, lounge around all the time with our heads in the sand, pretending nothing bad could ever happen.
Right.
We hope it doesn't, but it definitely might and could. And so we want to stay in that middle range where we're always prepared.
Yeah.
And, I'm here to vouch for the importance of having a plan, practicing it with your animals, talking about it with other people, because in 2017, you know where I live. So where I live is about 400 yards from the county road where the Nuns fire started.
You were
and
so close.
Yeah, we were almost at ground zero, and that fire was on us before anyone knew there was a fire, and all of our escape routes were immediately closed off. And the wind was blowing around 92, 94 miles an hour, and everything that was in the wind was on fire. Fire brands. Tom, my husband, never believed that was a thing until then.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Like, you're making it up. That was only in medieval times. And it was really scary, and my hands were shaking, and I could barely talk at first, but I knew what to do, and I was able to give really clear directions and eventually get my husband to wake up and get out of his recliner and help. But I had 3 cats in 2 different places, a cat in the barn, cats in the house. I had 7 horses. I had a mule. And earlier that afternoon, I was really uncomfortable. I hated that wind. I hated the heat. It was making me really edgy. And so I put my plan into action. All my large animals were in what we call catch pens, which is an area where they're safe. There is nothing that can burn, but we can catch them quickly, and we can load them quickly from that area if we need to. And that catch pen concept also applies to our little guys, okay? So I had gotten my barn cat in from outside. We always keep our barn cats in at night, but I got him in earlier. So, he was in. I didn't have to worry about him right away. When I knew that we were going to have to leave our house, I very quickly dumped my 2 house cats down the stairs to the basement, which was also the laundry room, which is one of their happy places. I had carriers down there. I also have litter pans and litter, and I can put food and water very quickly if I think I'm going to have to leave them there. But my thought was, I'm going to have to get in and out of the house a couple of times. My car already had a lot of stuff in it. I wanted to take some more stuff, throw it in the trucks. So my cats could not escape. I knew where they were. And then the last trip, we got the cats in their carriers up and into the cars. All of this happened in about 7 minutes.
Wow. Yeah.
And despite the fact that my mouth was so dry, I didn't think I could talk. Fortunately, I didn't have goggles handy. I now have goggles in so many places.
Okay.
I wear
people don't realize with the smoke and the wind.
I wear contacts.
Your eyes will just be miserable.
Fortunately, I had wraparound Ray-Bans. Not the safest thing to be in because of the darkness, but they were okay. But we were able to do it because we had talked about it, planned for it. Our property was, fairly defensible. Actually, the bigger parts of our property in our barn were way more defensible than our house.
Oh, wow.
Our 120-year-old house. We left our house thinking it was not going to be there, and we focused on defending the barn and the arena where the animals were. And fortunately, everything survived. But the point of all this is the importance of having a plan.
So to that point, and to a little bit to the point you kind of alluded to earlier, in some of the presentations I do, I try to present the concept of being comfortable evacuating, becoming comfortable with evacuating, and, I think that, the degree that we're comfortable with evacuating almost should be something like, if you have some friends show up in town and they're, at a hotel out the coast, they're here for, a few days visiting, and they call you up and say, hey, we're in town for a few days. Why don't you come on out, stay at the hotel with us for a few days?
Evac drill.
Exactly. And so you just throw a bunch of stuff in your suitcase, grab the pet, and then you're out of the house in a very short period of time. And there's not a lot of anxiety. It's like, hey, you're going to visit some old friends, right? And I feel like that's where we need to get with our
so that we
psyche
have
for
that
evacuating.
muscle memory,
Yeah.
and it's second nature. We don't have to
Yeah, so
stop
we're not
to
really
think
like
about it.
in the yellow sort of with the anxiety, but it's just when it's time to evacuate. And then with large animals, I think if it's practiced with that kind of concept in mind, it's like, let's say you have some friends that, from down south that show up with their horses.
Mhm.
You're like, hey, we're out at, I don't know, pick a spot.
A safe place away from where the bad thing might happen.
Well, or just out of the blues, not even a fire yet, but hey,
Anywhere you can
come
go.
do horseback riding with
Yeah.
us for the weekend or a week, and you just on the spot they call you up,
Yep.
and you just figure it out and you go. To the degree that we're able to do that with muscle
Be
memory, and
ready
everything else,
24/7.
Yeah.
If we're ready 24/7,
to be able to do that in a flash.
yes,
would be
we're
cool.
also going to be so much better prepared for that everyday emergency,
Right.
because we're all very disaster focused, wildfire focused, but fortunately they don't happen that often. But everyday emergencies do, and if we're ready for a disaster, we're going to be much stronger and able to take care of ourselves and our animals in an emergency. But we had we just had a couple of earthquakes rattle the Bay Area a couple of days ago. Didn't really affect us here, but what a good time to say, oh, what if that had happened here?
Right.
How ready would I have been? What do I need to do to ramp things up? Just in the last year, we've had a couple of pretty significant tsunami alerts and warnings. Same thing. Yeah, it probably wasn't going to affect anybody right here in Santa Rosa, but use it as an opportunity to ask yourself, what could I do better? What would I have done if? And again, the importance of being ready and thinking about it, which definitely, I'm not going to kid around. Of course, it's going to cause a little anxiety while we're doing it. But in the long run, it's really empowering and it's stress reducing. And for animal owners, here is a real key, important reason to be thinking about it, make those plans, practice those plans. It's all about that situational awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Our animals are way more situationally aware than we could ever be. We have to learn how to do it. We have to learn how to do it. We have to train ourselves to do it and remind ourselves to do it. But I like to tell people, be like your animals. Think like your animals.
Situational awareness.
Yeah.
So we're running a little bit out of time.
Wow.
I wanted to have some time for some questions.
Yeah. Do we have questions?
So we have Chris asked, should you include neighbors and friends who are willing to help you with your animals when you're conducting practice drills?
Absolutely.
This was mentioned briefly earlier, but could you go into more detail about it, how it would play out? I was thinking about that earlier. I was imagining while you were talking earlier about you, maybe Tom's out or somewhere, and you're by yourself. Do you have somebody that can come over and help you? Chris's question is really good.
It's that number one, connect with your neighbors, which is harder to do when you live in the country, but really important. So that neighbor to neighbor connection, that going back to the animal emergency buddy network that I was talking about, people who are close by inside your evacuation zone, people who are outside your evac zone. So yes, you absolutely want to have the largest, broadest, deepest network you can have, which is also part of planning for disaster. Have more than one plan for everything.
Invite them over when there's the warning, right?
Exactly.
Oh, there's a warning. Come on over.
Have drills.
Yeah.
Have a drill. Pretend you're back in school. It's a fire drill. It's an earthquake drill. Yeah. Cannot stress that enough. And in our workbooks, at the very back of the workbook are an emergency action plan form. On the back side of that, and it doesn't matter which workbook applies to you, but on the back side of that is an advanced veterinary care directive for your animals.
Oh, wow.
So you want to make sure that you fill those forms out. And inside the front cover of these workbooks is a cheat sheet that tells you what to do with this workbook, how to use it. So how many copies do you want to make of your emergency plan and your advanced care directive? Where to store them? who to share them with, which would include, Chris, your buddy network, your neighbors, people who are going to come and be able to help your animals if you're not home.
Yeah. Any other questions that we can look at? Oh, there's one. So what is a catch pen and why is it so important? That's a good question because I don't know what that is.
So obviously I went too fast a minute ago.
Yeah, you said a mud bucket or something. I have no idea what that is.
No, catch pen came after. So the catch pen concept, it starts with something we do with large animals all the time. So, I talked about bringing our animals into that smaller place that's completely clean, a dry lot, with fencing that's not going to burn. It's away from big trees that could fall over. There's no hay or bedding or anything else stored close by. And we're going to be able to catch our animals quickly from that location. So an easy place, they're confined. So you confine your animals on those, maybe not on a weather watch day, but you make sure that your catch pen is ready for them. And then when it switches over, when it elevates to weather warning, you're going to bring your animals to that location that's going to be the safest place and the fastest and easiest place for you to catch them and get them loaded. And the same concept applies to the little ones. So our cats and our dogs have a place in your home where you can, I don't have the thing that I want to share here. Have a place in your home where you can confine your small pets where they're going to be safe. We've got signs. These are included in all our workbooks so that you can post one of these on the door to remind yourself and your family members while you're getting ready or while you're living through those weather warning or red flag days that the cat's in the spare bedroom or the parakeets in the laundry room or whatever.
Or they're even in there.
Or they're in the house somewhere, right. So again, it's that place where you can confine your animals, whether they're big ones or small ones, where they're going to feel safe and secure, and you're going to be able to get them quickly.
Very cool. I would have never known that. So another question, with late summer fires increasing every day, what should animal owners be doing right now?
Well, everything we just talked about, absolutely everything and then some. And what I would say is before we leave this presentation, make sure that you visit us at halterproject.org, download the workbook that pertains to you, whether you're a pet parent, live in a senior community, have those big critters. We have lots of materials in Spanish, and of course we have materials for first responders as well. We also have a YouTube channel where we post all kinds of great information, including links to Fire Safe Sonoma speaker series presentations. And so what you should be doing right now is asking yourself, how ready am I? Do I have a personal plan for myself and my family? And if I don't, we have great resources here in Sonoma. You can get an evac pack. This one happens to be in Spanish, but from Sonoma County Department of Emergency Management.
In most of the events we attend, we will have those for, if we table at an event, oftentimes the Sonoma County Emergency Management is there. So if you ever see a fire safety event somewhere, you can get those off of
grab your evac pack.
Kiosks there.
However, I am a board member of North Bay Region of American Red Cross, and we also have a really, really great one-page document called a 21 days to get ready, 21 weeks to get ready. And I always say don't use 21 weeks, but it's also a really great tool. And we have all of these, with links to all of these available on halterproject.org.
And also to take that a little further, in terms of what to do now, if you're not already doing it, make sure you're signed up for watch duty. Make sure you're signed up for the alerts that will, get to you in your area.
All our local SoCo emergencies.
If you're unincorporated, Sonoma County SoCo alert, all those things. And then, pay attention to your surroundings, what's going on.
While we're talking about getting information, one of the most frequently asked questions we get, and again, it's addressed in detail in these workbooks, but it's what do I do if I cannot evacuate my animals? What if I can't get them? I can't catch them. What if I'm not home? They won't jump in the car. The neighbor can't get them. Whatever the reason, if you have animals, maybe they're just old or they're not well enough to handle the trip. So part of, I wanted to address this earlier, and I know we're going over, part of everyone's evacuation plan for their animals should include a strong shelter in place plan.
Yeah.
So planning for evacuation means also planning for shelter in place. And if you have animals sheltering in place, there are resources here in the county. So Sonoma County Animal Services is the agency responsible for all our animals and their welfare during emergencies and disasters. And there are two numbers in our workbook. We have a slide for that somewhere. But there are two numbers that I want everybody who's a Sonoma County resident to make sure that they keep as part of their emergency contacts in their emergency plan. And that is for Sonoma County Animal Services and also the Sonoma Community Animal Response Team hotline, the Sonoma CART. And CART is like the animal version of CERT. And we have more and more CERTs in this county.
Yeah.
In a declared disaster, you need to get yourself to safety first. Don't waste precious time trying to catch the cat if the cat is not going to be caught, or running down those big animals. Don't put yourself in danger. You're not going to help them or anyone else, and you could be putting responders at risk. Get yourself to safety, and then immediately call Animal Services or that hotline number and let them know that there are animals where they are. Be prepared to give really, really good information, just as if you were talking to a 911 dispatcher. But please do not call 911 in a declared disaster, in a wildfire incident, with an animal request. You may be put on long hold or possibly disconnected. There are numbers dedicated just to the animals, but it's really important that you have those at your fingertips. So make them part of your plan, include them with all of your emergency
So where can they get those numbers? From your website?
They can get them from their workbook.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, and I think we also dropped them into the chat, possibly.
Perfect.
So all of our workbooks take you from step one, how to use this workbook, to the very end. What can I do to be as prepared as possible? How do I create a plan? How do I develop a network of helpers who are going to help me? How do I know who to call and what to do if I can't take my animals with me for whatever reason? All of that information. These are hefty workbooks. They're meaty, and you do need to do a little homework and spend a little time with them.
I'm going to close out with a story that you're just going to love. Oh, do we have another question? Or? Okay, I'm going to close out with a story that you're going to love. So during the lightning complex a few years ago, I was up shooting some footage because I'm an amateur filmmaker, and when there's fires, I try to put some stuff together. And so I'm up there with a partner. We're up there behind the fire lines, and we're shooting some helicopter drops that look pretty spectacular. And there was some folks across the street that had not evacuated completely yet. And my partner says, "Hey, let's go over there and help them." And I turn my head, and there's this woman and three adolescent girls trying to put a Shetland pony in the back of a crew cab, So not quite a car, but that may as well been. So we went over there to help put this Shetland pony, a small pony, but in terms of an animal, it's large, in the back of a crew cab. We got it in there, a couple people went in pulling, and my friend and I at the back, hoping not to get kicked, coaxing the thing in from behind, and we were able to get them out of there. But she couldn't get it earlier because she didn't get the help she needed, so she got other people to help. Still wasn't enough, so my friend and I, we went over there helping.
And put yourselves in a pretty risky situation.
Hey, that's what I do.
To do it. You're a firefighter, which is exactly why we want to keep all of
I love animals.
I know you do.
Not want them to leave that
Preaching to the choir, but again, a really, really strong example. And I thank you for that. I deployed to many of the largest incidents in California in the last 10 years, and I was up there in Napa County for a good deal of that response. But leave early. Don't wait. Don't wait for someone to
be
tell
ready.
You. Have a plan. Have helpers, and work with your animals. Practice. Practice makes permanent.
Yeah, beautiful. Well said. So, okay, thank you, Julie. Appreciate it. Thank you guys all for watching our speaker series this month. I hope you enjoyed it. A little different format. Let us know if you like this format or if it felt weird. If you all really like the format, we might explore using this format in the future. I really liked it, the one-on-one.
Not ready for prime time, but almost.
Not even ready for almost prime time, but we do the best we can. And I could not do it without the help of Team Fire Station. So thank you, Alina and Malia, and thank you, our new fellows. You guys are great, Jeannie, Claire, and Sydney. I'm getting your names down. Thank you for all your help today. Thank you very much, Julie, for making the trip out to do this in person. I think it was really cool.
And thanks for giving space to the animals.
Absolutely.
And to Fire Safe Sonoma for all you do, because we are safer because of you.
Yeah. And thank you guys online for joining us, and those that are viewing this currently through the live stream. Thanks for watching. And those of you that watch it on our YouTube channel later at Sunday, thanks for watching. I hope you got something out of this. As always, our hope with Fire Safe Sonoma by doing this speaker series, we do put a lot of work into it. And our big hope is that you all get something of value out of this for watching these programs. I've actually spoken to a couple folks in recent months and kind of trying to find out, is it worthwhile that we do this? And every person I've spoken to about, they said, yeah, they love it, they get value out of it. So while it is a great deal of work for us to stand up these programs, as long as they're of value, we're going to keep doing them.
We can't do this without you, our community, paying this information forward.
And then don't forget, you guys, next month's speaker series, we're going to have Alina Brammer and Malia Zimmerman speaking about the Ready, Set, Go specifically for renters. So if you're a renter, it's a must watch. If you're not a renter, you might watch it anyway. You probably know somebody who's a renter,
landlord,
and it'll be good information to share. Yeah, and landlords too, could be valuable maybe for you guys to view as well, because there's things that landlords can do on behalf of renters. So, all right, I think we're at time. Thanks very much, everyone, for watching. I do appreciate it, and we will see you next month.